Hello, this is Wiley from Learn to Barbecue. Today's cook is all about how to sous vide barbecue pulled pork. Pulled pork comes from the pork shoulder or Boston butt. This part of the pig has both fat and a lot of connective tissue. First step, we will start with the rub. This is a simple but very effective rub when doing sous vide cooking. 1 cup of Montreal steak seasoning, 1/4 cup of garlic salt, 2 tablespoons of cumin, 2 tablespoons of dry mustard. Mix well in a mixing bowl and try to remember that we need the salt well distributed through the rub. The salt will act like a dry brine, helping to not only season the pork, but also tenderize it as the pork cooks. Now go find the ugliest broiler pan you can find. So here is my 8-pound boneless Boston butt or pork shoulder. Empty roast into pan, keeping the juices from the bag. I roll the roast in the juices so when I apply the rub will stick to the roast. Apply the rub to every inch of the roast. Make sure you use every bit of the rub, for you need all that salt so you can tenderize this roast. Now here comes the real challenge. How do I get an 8-pound roast into an 11-inch wide bag without rubbing off the rub? This part is important, for the bag has to be clean or it will not work properly in the vacuum sealer. Also, if you have any rub left, just put it in the bag. This part is always the most fun for me. I never get tired of using the vacuum sealer. Make sure the sealer is in liquid or moist mode, depending on your unit. Also, I always double seal the bag ends. Thank God I've never had a bag fail yet. Now into the bath. 165 degrees Fahrenheit for 24 hours. 24 hours later, remove from bath and make sure you have a half-size foil pan ready. Now carefully drain juices into the pan and then remove the roast from the bag. You will need some of these juices when it comes to shredding the pork. Man, does that look good or what? Now go get another foil tray and transfer the roast over. Remember to save the juices. Now it's time to pat down and dry the surface of the roast. I then sprinkle some Montreal steak seasoning on top. This will allow the roast to develop a crust, or bark as we say in barbecue. Goes into the smoker or grill set up for indirect cooking at 225 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. So here is the finished product. As you can see, it has a great bark. Also, it is extremely tender. I could have just used my hands to pull it apart. If you have ever done pulled pork, you will know it does not get any better than this. Not only is it tender, but all the excess fat has rendered into the meat or meat juices. And remember, we saved those. First pass, I used the big claws to break the roast into large pieces. Now it is time to taste this pork. It is really good. Now it's time to add some of those juices back. This is personal preference, but I did add some apple cider vinegar and mustard to the juices. Now the final pass, and this time you use 2 forks and shred it to your liking. Pulled pork is great in sandwiches, with eggs, in enchiladas, burritos, and if you add onions and green salsa, one of my favorites, and that is carnitas. Bon appetit! If you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And as always, we very much appreciate you watching.